Hey Snapcasters, Alex here, talking about another deck here for our 12, favorite decks of Christmas that we're doing. Um, for this one, unfortunately, I don't have my originally 75, but I want to talk about Mardu Dragons. Um, I played this deck a lot, and for one, I really enjoyed the deck. The reason that this is on my list, though, is it was the first standard PPTQ, like as soon as they started the PPTQ system, that I won. I won with this deck. I actually made the finals in back-to-back weekends, punting the finals of the first PPTQ I played this in, and then playing the next weekend, rallying and winning. So I had a lot of success with this deck. Playing that. But like I said, this is not my 75, unfortunately. But I wanted to be able to pull it up in here and kind of go through some of the cards and things. So uh, this was an aggressive deck, but it did run 26 lands because you were trying to get up to Culligan's Storm Fury, one of the best cards in the deck. Not only because flying. And then it gives all your creatures +1/+1 for each, or +1/+0 for each attacking dragon. It also dash, so then you could attack with it as a 5/5 haste flyer, and then it would return to your hand if your opponent didn't have instant speed removal for it. So it helped grind out some controlling matchups. And in the lane base we have Haven of the Spirit Dragon, which just helped you grind, got back Culligan, Storm Breaths, and Thunder Breaks and things. This was still during the time of Theros Cons, so we had temples, so you could, scry and fix your mana. But now we had the tri-lands, so our mana got better. Still running one of my favorite creatures of all time, Goblin Rabblemaster. I played Rabble Red for a long time during that, time too. Just makes 1/1 goblins all day. It gets big on the attack. The 1/1 goblins stick around for a Culligan to make them very big. Stormbreath Dragon is still around, flying haste, and then Thunderbreak, getting more incremental damage in if they targeted dragon to not die to it. And then you had life gain in Soulfire and Seeker. I know I was on a 3-3 split between these cards. I couldn't decide which one I wanted more. You would get in scenarios where you get the buyback on Soulfire. Buying back Crackling Doom feels great. Many games that did that. And also giving Crackling Doom lifelink is great. And sideboard Anger of the Gods with this guy is just, you just gain so much life. But the appeal to this deck and also current red-black aggro in standard is effects like Crackling Doom and Draconic Roar, where it's removal of a creature and then also damage to try to, it's burn. It pushes through damage. It's much like Unlicensed Disintegration, which is one of the cards I really like about red-black aggro in current standard. And I'm realizing more and more now that I've won a PTQ or PPTQ with Mardu Dragons and now red-black aggro, maybe that's more of my play style, is kind of the tempo removal burn style. And I think like this deck really kind of started that. Draconic Roar deals 3 damage to a creature. If you reveal a dragon, 3 damage to that creature's controller. It was just a great card for 1 red, super easy to cast. With 2 Culligan, Storm's Furies, 4 Storm Breaths, 4 Thunder Breaks, like you just always had a dragon in play or in your hand. Crackling Doom, geez, this card is just great. It gets your opponent's biggest creature, which was a great mechanic, because a lot of punishing mechanics or just target opponent, sacrifice a creature, usually get the worst creature. So the fact that it was the highest power really allowed you to get the best creature at the time. And then the 2 damage, not irrelevant, and it's just a great tempo card. You had things like Culligan's Command, where you can shock, make him discard, get back Culligan, get back Stormbreath Dragon whenever you needed to. Murderous Cut, because Delve was free, and it's just a great removal. Thoughtseize here. And I know I wasn't earning this ultimate price of the key. I was running Sorin. I always played Sorin in the main. I would have just played Wingmate Rock anyway, but Stormbreath Dragon and Culligan's Fury are just better 5-drops in this deck. But I know I was for sure earning Sorin because I just love that card and played it a lot. But this is another deck where it's an aggressive deck with Thoughtseize, and I love doing that too, where you just get to attack the hand, take the removal, and leave them with something that doesn't match up well with Stormbreath Dragon or something, and just really just hammer them home. Monstrous Stormbreath Dragon was great. My sideboard is a little different. I wasn't running Brimez. I know that. I had more Sorns and Elspeths, because sideboard games, you just get a Sorin and an Elspeth and go to town. Plus Sorin, plus Elspeth and plus Sorin. Have just 3/2/1 lifelinkers and just get out of hand. Outpost Seed was also great in the deck to allow you to grind out certain games. You just exile. It's a Chandra 0 every turn. Exile the top card. You can play it. And then also Foul Tongue Invocation was good to have at the time because Blue-Eye Heroic was still running around where they can give protection from a color. So sideboard, when you have 3 Foul Tongues and 4 Crackling Doom, still you could really punish Heroic by them not being able to pro your removal. And once again, this deck was just everything in here is must answer. Like even Soulfire, as kind of it doesn't seem that relevant, but when you're life-linking Draconic Roars, and especially if you have a dragon, so you're just gaining 6 life, you're paying 2 mana, you get to kill a creature, your opponent takes 3, and you gain 6 life. Like that is a huge tempo swing in any game. So it was, they had to kill that. And so then if they use their removal on Soulfire, maybe Rabblemaster sticks, and then he goes ham and just, and then, Thunderbreak comes down. He's a must answer for flyer, but if they answer him, they take some damage. They get bolted. And then, Storm Breath afterwards, or Kolaghan's Storm Fury afterwards. If you still have the Thunderbreak, they get bolted for answering, the Storm Breath or whatever. And then you just have Haven and Kolaghan's Command to get those things back. Like, it was just a super punishing, aggressive deck, and I loved every minute of it. And once again, yeah, it's Theros Khans, which is what the black-white deck I already talked about was. But that was just a great time that I really enjoyed Standard at the time. And, man, this deck was just so much fun, too. And, like I said, I was running Sorin in the main, so, like, Sorin making, Stormbreath Dragon a 5/4 lifelink flyer was just this deck had a lot of inevitability, which is weird because it doesn't have card draw. It doesn't have Read the Bones or Sign of Blood or that kind of effect from any of the card draw effects traditional black has, or Underworld Connections was big in like mono black and things like that. Yes, it has Outpost Siege out of the sideboard, but like in the main, it doesn't have a lot of card draw. It gets its card advantage out of 2-for-1s, Draconic Roaring, killing something and hitting your opponent and kind of still being aggressive with your spells. Kolaghan's Command, getting things back. Haven, getting back creatures that they've wasted removal on. And then just getting more value, especially if it's a haster that hits them. And then they remove it and then you Haven it back and hit them again. So you can just really punish people. And Rabblemaster is such a punishing card too. Like if you didn't have the answer for it, like good games, Rabblemaster's going to kill you. And then once again, it was another deck where out of the sideboard you get Crux of Fate and Anger of the Gods, and you can play controlling, Elspeth Sun's Champion. Yeah, everything about this deck was great too. I had a blast playing it. It was a more traditional deck. For me, it was anything I brewed. It was very by the book, standard stock list. But that doesn't mean I didn't love it, any less than anything I've brewed. And I had a blast, and once again, it was an iconic deck for me, just in the fact of, letting me win that first PBTQ once that system had got in place, and proved to myself, I guess, that it was doable. And then just haven't looked back since. Been playing, I always try to play black-white when I can. So this was another black-white deck, and it played very much to that. You gained a lot of life with Soulfire and Seeker, and killed a lot of things and had aggressive creatures, and just as everything I wanted out of a deck this had. So I'm hoping you guys are enjoying the 12 Days of Christmas and continue to watch our other decks from the other guys on the cast, and then we're gonna have a couple team ones. So I hope you're enjoying the content and continuing to watch.